Welcome back to part 11 of my 1 to 60 Alliance leveling guide. When we left off, we were flying to Arathi Highlands at level 39, and you should have those water breathing potions in your bags from Darkshore. So let's get started. When you land, talk to Squaretoe the dwarf for the quest Wand Over Fist.
What can I do for you?
Then head north out of Refuge Point. When you go northeast, you'll find Dabiri's farmstead filled with friendlies. Then further northeast, you'll find a stone circle with a black crystal in the middle. Talk to the crystal for the quest The Princess Trapped. Then head east. Here you will find the Horde City Hammerfell. Our target is going to be on the opposite side in the mountains, so scoot around it on the south side. Try to get close enough to get discovery experience though. When you reach the eastern mountains, clear through the narrow trails of the kobolds around here. All of them drop motes of Misriel.
That ability isn't ready yet. Not enough rage. More rage. I can't do that yet.
When you get high enough up the mountains, you should find a cave. For this quest, the turn-in is a black crystal at the back of the cave. So the goal is to get all 12 motes that we need to complete the quest before we reach the back of the cave. The kobolds are tightly packed and flee, but notably the surveyors are casters that like to spam frostbolt. You want to use pummel and intercept to stop their casting as much as possible, and try not to get swarmed by letting the kobolds flee as you clear to the back. Just be sure to clear excessively to guarantee you have the 12 motes you need when you do reach the end of the cave.
Isn't ready yet. I can't do that yet. Not ready.
When you get there, turn in the quest The Princess Trapped and accept the follow-up Stones of Binding. Then clear your way back out of the cave.
That ability isn't ready.
Our next target are the Elemental Circles. If you're following this guide as a warrior and did the Cyclonian step of this, then you'll know the locations as it's where all of the elementals spawned. The first Elemental Circle is the east of Binding. It is west of Hammerfell, right beside where we just accepted the previous quest. The east one is surrounded by water elementals, and at the center is a stone we need to interact with to get the cresting key. As you clear to the center, if any elementals end up dropping charms and you see a warrior here farming for his axe, help a brother out. You know the struggle, show some empathy. But when you get to the middle and have the key, we'll be heading to the next circle to the southwest, just east of Refuge Point. Clear the Thundering Exiles until you can get to the center. And then loot the Thundering Key. Once you have it, run straight south towards the ogres at Boulderfist Hall. The ogres here are pretty squishy, and with pummel, dealing with casters should be fairly easy for us now, so clear your way into the cave.
Not ready yet. I can't do that.
Our target is a named ogre at the very back of the cave, but you can easily double pull these ogres to reach him. At the back of the cave, you should find Korgresh Cold Rage. He'll likely pull with another Boulder Fist Magus, but they don't do anything fancy except Frostbolts and Frost Novas, You can brute force it or use line of sight and interrupts to kill them with finesse. When they die, make sure to loot Trelane's Wand of Invocation to complete the quest Wand over Fist. Then head back out of the cave. Outside, we are going to be running north back to Refuge Point. When you get here, turn in Wand over Fist and take no follow-ups. Clear your bags and then head west towards the Fire Elementals. The reason we turned this quest in now is because we'll be hearthing out of Arathi, so we won't be back to Refuge Point again. When you get to the Circle of West Binding, do the same thing. You're just going to clear to the middle, then at the center stone, loot the Burning Key. Now that you have all 3 keys, make your way back to the main road from here. Just east of Stromgarde and south of the main road, you'll find a drop down a cliff, a circle of inner binding surrounded by earth elementals. The elementals are a bit of a pain to kill, but we need to interact with the tiny stone here to turn in stones of binding.
It's too far away. That ability isn't ready.
Don't try to interact with the big purple one, it's the tiny stone nearby that you need. When you turn it in, you can take the follow-up, breaking the keystone, if you want, especially if you are leveling in a party, as this quest and its follow-up go nicely into our questing path, but we cannot solo it and it's difficult to find a group for it. Otherwise, we'll continue on our merry way, heading straight south towards the mountains. We're about to make our way into the coastal region where there isn't any good grind spots, and we would like it that all of the quests here will ding us to level 40. In order for that to happen, we need to be roughly 54,000 experience into level 39. If you are not that far into level 39, I cannot guarantee that the quests will ding you in this next section, so I recommend you grind here for easier mobs to kill until you get to 54,000 experience, and then move on with the guide. We're going to be heading to the southern end of Stromgarde, just between it and the mountains, and you should find a narrow pathway going west. Follow the path to the coast until it takes you to a cave. Go through the cave and you'll reach Faldir's Cove. Swim across the cove to the eastern shore and towards the boat. When you get on the shore, first talk to the ogre and accept his quest, which he asks to turn it in right away to the captain nearby on the docks. Once you've turned it in, you should be able to get the quest Deep Sea Salvage from the goblin right beside the captain. Then move up the land a bit towards the 2 gnomes around the bonfire. Take the quest from the dwarf Drowned Sorrows and from the gnome Sunken Treasure. The Sunken Treasure is an escort quest, sort of. The gnome will head up the hill towards the cave and then into the cave and start a ritual. Our job is to protect him from the water elementals that will come. They will spawn 2 at a time and are level 40. This can be hard to solo. Try not to take aggro on both elementals from the NPC. Make sure to make use of his HP bar and let him tank one as long as you can. Keep your hit points up with bandages and food, and use big cooldowns if you need to. This can be hard but definitely doable. And once he's done his business, the gnome will run back outside, follow him, then turn in the Sunken Treasure and take the follow-up. With these 3 quests in hand, it's then time to go swimming. Head west into the ocean and pop an underwater breathing potion. You should have 5 from Darkshore, but if you die, it's gone, so play smart here, don't die more than 4 times. We have 3 quests to complete under the water. Firstly, we need to kill the raiders and sorceresses down here for the quest Drowned Sorrows. You don't need to really put any effort into doing this though, as you'll kill way more than you need just by doing the other quests. Your priority should to be completing Sunken Treasure. It requires you to loot elven gems around the bottom of the ocean. They're pretty scarce and pretty spread out. Utilize the helmet you are given for the quest to get a minimap blip of where they are, but don't forget to put your real helmet back on when you start fighting. Use the elven gems as a guide to which Naga you want to kill for drowned sorrows, but be mindful of the sorceresses. They can be pretty damn deadly if you don't take them seriously. Our third goal is the quest Deep Sea Salvage. We need to loot 4 items from 2 sunken ships here, and the items are a bit tricky to find. So let's start with the easternmost ship. Clear the Naga cautiously around the ship and above the deck until you can safely swim in one of the windows near the front of the ship on the easternmost side. Inside this room, in a cauldron, you'll find the book, The Maiden's Folly. Then clear through the doorway and through the hall into the large room on the opposite end of the ship. Just to the left of the door, on the round platform around the mast, you'll find a paper, The Maiden's Folly Charts. Once you've got both of those, you're done with the first ship, so swim out of the boat and then we'll move to the westernmost boat. For this boat, we need to clear into the westernmost room of the boat through the windows. And on a crate next to the cannon in the far western room, you'll find the Spirit of the Silver Pine charts. Then if you swim to the easternmost room of this boat, there is a hole in the floor. You can swim down, and laying in the sand, you'll find the Spirit of the Silver Pine log. Once you've got all 4 of those, you should be done with Deep Sea Salvage. All that's left is to swim around and finish killing the Naga for drowned sorrows, and finish looting the elven gems to complete Sunken Treasure. As annoying as Sunken Treasure quest is, it's required for the follow-up quests, so make sure you do get it done. Once all of them are complete, swim back up towards the land. On land, turn in Deep Sea Salvage, then up the hill turn in Drowned Sorrows and Sunken Treasure and accept the follow-up. Take the follow-up back to the captain and turn it in for another follow-up of the same name, Sunken Treasure. Now you should be level 40. If you are not level 40, you're a bit behind, and we'll be heading to Ironforge to train in a second. So to catch up, you can grind here on the Naga, but they kind of suck to grind. So just go back to the elementals and make some money selling charms to some poor exploitable warriors. Either way, make sure you ding level 40 before you move on with the guide. Then we'll be hearthing to South Shore. In South Shore, you can clear up your bags and then we will fly to Ironforge. On your flight to Ironforge, if you have reagents for frost oil or invisibility potions or the healing potions on your mailing alt, mail them back to your main. We are going to use them soon. When you land in Ironforge, make your way to the Hall of Explorers. First, turn in Stormpike's Deciphering, then accept the quest Iron Band Wants You, the Lost Dwarves, and Reclaimed Treasures from the dwarves around the Hall of Explorers. Then make your way to your class trainer and train your level 40 abilities. Now we're about to head to Badlands with a quest chain that asks for a lot of crafted items. The quests are a chain, so if you can't get one part, you don't need to bother with the next part. The first quest asks you for frost oil. If you follow this guide, you either know how to craft it yourself or you can try to buy it on the auction house. If you get frost oil, then the next thing you'll need is a gyrochronatum. This you can buy from the engineering vendor in Ironforge in Tinkertown. If you turn these two in, you'll get another quest that asks for one healing potion and one lesser invisibility potion. You should be able to craft both of these if you are an alchemist, or again check the auction house. In addition, independently will be a quest asking for patterned bronze bracers from blacksmiths. You can check the auction house for it for some extra experience. If you cannot obtain the materials for these quests, we will be going back to Badlands again around level 46, so you'll have another chance to turn these in. You also have access now to your level 40 mount. It will cost you 90 gold. If you have it, you should definitely go and get your mount. In this run, I did not get my mount until level 43, where it's absolutely necessary, so if you don't get it yet, don't stress. We'll get lots of gold from quests and grinding in the next parts of the guide. With all your Ironforge business done, we'll be flying to Thelsamar in Loch Modan. When you land, first set your Hearthstone to Thelsamar. Next, head into the southernmost dwarf house and inside accept the quest Badlands Reagent Run. Then run southeast out of Thelsamar. Our first destination is the Iron Band excavation site in eastern Loch Modan. When you get there, turn in the quest Iron Band Wants You and accept the follow-up Find Agmund. Then it's time to head southwest into Badlands. Now Badlands and Uldaman are tricky. The moment we enter Badlands, we want to start looking for a quest Uldaman group. Most of the quests are outside the dungeon, but they are still elite. The problem is we don't have all of the quests yet. Most are scattered around Badlands, some from chains. For example, the two quests we just took, Find Agmund and Badlands Reagent Run, their follow-ups are both Uldaman quests. For this reason, there's two ways we can run through Badlands. The overall efficient way of doing the quests here, or instead target the Uldaman prerequisite quests so that we have them ready for our Uldaman group. We're going to focus on the efficient path, but the moment you get an Uldaman group, alter your focus to doing just the prerequisites to run Uldaman by clicking on the Uldaman video guide in the description, which will help you get all of the quests before you get into the dungeon. The Uldaman quests give massive, and I mean massive amounts of experience, and they're very easy to clear. It takes about 45 minutes just to do the first boss and get them all done. It's also usually easy to get a group for Uldaman because mages have a class quest that sends them to Uldaman. So do your best to find an Uldaman group, and if you do, click on the link in the description for the video guide on that. But otherwise, we'll continue with the efficient path through Badlands. Once you get into Badlands, we're going to keep heading south and start grinding on the wildlife. We need buzzards and coyotes for Badlands Reagent Run, but they are all over Badlands. Only rush this quest if you have an Uldaman group and need a follow-up. Otherwise, casually clear south until you reach Hammertoe's dig site. Go around the dig site up onto the mountains south of it, where you will find some dwarves.
I'm out of range. It's too far away.
Talk to Ryadol and take a dwarf and his tools. Then from Sigrun Ironhue, take the quest Mirages. We won't take the Fiery Blaze enchantments yet because your quest log is probably hurting. Don't abandon any completed quests, and don't abandon Raptor Mastery though. Then head north into the dig site.
Too far away.
Start killing the Shadowforge dwarves. Our goal is to get Ryadol's lucky pick, a random drop off the dwarves here. The dwarves are more or less easy pickings for us. We outlevel the caster mobs, and that has the added benefit of you resisting most of their spells, but still don't get overwhelmed from the fleeing mechanic. Our second objective here is on a page in the upper level of the dig site, under the square tent on the ground. So clear to the page first,
Not ready yet. That ability isn't ready yet.
then talk to it for the quest A Sign of Hope, then keep killing the dwarves until you get the pickaxe. And then head northeast out of the dig site.
That ability isn't ready. Not ready yet.
As you go northeast, you'll eventually reach Camp Kosh. Start killing the ogres here around the camp to get to the cauldron in the middle.
I can't do that yet.
Next to the cauldron is a crate we need to loot for the quest Mirages. Loot the crate to complete the quest. Then start heading back towards the dwarves back on the hill. At the dwarves, turn in the quest Mirages and accept the follow-up Scrounging. Then turn in a dwarf and his tools and a Sign of Hope, and accept the follow-up to a Sign of Hope, which is another Uldamon quest. Then we'll be heading southwest further into Badlands.
That ability isn't ready yet. Need more rage. Not enough rage.
You should eventually encounter Martek the Exiled and his camp around the western mountain here. We have a quest that we got way back from level 32 called Martek the Exiled. Turn in Martek the Exiled and accept Endurium and barbecued buzzard wings. Power Stones is another quest here from Uldamon, but we won't take it yet because our quest log is probably crying right now. But remember, this quest is here if you do get your Uldamon group, and make sure you grab this before you go in. Also take note of the vendor here. He is the only vendor in the zone for Alliance and will likely be grinding here a while, so don't forget to make use of him. Next, head northwest. Keep killing wildlife though as you go. We don't have a quest to kill the jaguars or ridge hunters, whatever you want to call them, but they are amazing for money and farming and XP. If you opt out of Uldamon, these are probably what you'll end up grinding instead. They drop tiger meat for cooking, so don't be shy about killing them as you travel around Badlands. Eventually, you should find Lotwil Verlatus's camp. Talk to him for the quest Study of the Elements Rock. If you have the Frost Oil, you can accept and turn in the quest Coolant Heads Prevail. That will give you the follow-up Gyro What. If you have the Gyro Chronoma thingy, accept that quest and then turn that in as well. Now directly west on the mountains, you'll find lesser rock elementals. Start grinding on them to complete Study of the Elements Rock and Badlands Reagent Run. These elementals don't bleed, but with our level 40 skills, it shouldn't be too bad. Mortal Strike is finally here. We can double pull them, but I recommend against it on a PvP server. This quest is shared with Horde, and just a bit more west is the Horde town, so this place is a high traffic for PvP. Once you get the 5 rock shards for Badlands Reagent Run and complete Study of the Elements Rock, head back down to Lotwill. When you turn in Study of the Elements Rock, accept the follow-up of the same name. Start heading back towards Martek, and then from there go southeast. Take note that in addition to Badlands Reagent Run, we also want to kill buzzards now for the Barbecued Buzzard Wings quest to complete it, but this isn't a quest item, so be careful not to accidentally vendor the buzzard wings.
More rage. Can't do that. Not ready yet.
Just southeast of Martek the Exiled, on the side of the mountain, you should find Agmon's End and a battered dwarven skeleton. Interact with it to turn in Agmon's End and accept the follow-up Mauradon. Then start killing trogs around Agmon's End. We need 12 Stone Vault Bone Snappers for Mauradon, and they also drop Endurium Flakes for the quest Endurium, which we need 10 of. The trogs hit pretty hard. It's possible to double pull them, but be cautious. You should first prioritize getting the named trog we need, Mauradon.
Can't do that yet.
He's sitting out front of an outhouse with a Stone Vault Shaman, but we can get to it and pull him from above rather than having to clear through the dig site. So make sure you build up rage first on a nearby trog.
That ability isn't ready yet.
Then go up the hill just behind the dwarf skeleton and pull the 2. They will try to flee, so make sure to hamstring and kill them down with sweeping strikes.
That ability isn't ready yet. I need it first.
Then you can go about killing the rest of the trogs you need around Agmon's End.
Not enough rage.
Once you complete Mauradon and Endurium, you should head south to a dwarf at the base of the mountain. This dwarf is more or less the last Uldaman quest you need, Solution to Doom. Grab it while you are here and then keep going further southwest into the mountains where you should start finding rock elementals.
Need to get closer. I'm out of range. Not ready yet. That ability is. Need more rage.
These elementals are harder to deal with. Double pulling will probably get you killed, so take your time to get the 3 large stone slabs we need to complete Study of the Elements Rock.
Isn't ready yet. Not ready yet. Not ready yet. I can't do that yet. I can't do that yet. Not enough rage.
When you get them, make sure you also have the stones you needed for Badlands Reagents Run, then head northwest. In the open area of Badlands, start killing the coyotes and buzzards. There's a large gathering of buzzards around the bones northwest, and most of the coyotes are on the eastern side, but don't be shy about killing the ridge hunters either. Once you complete both the quests, Badlands reagent runs, and barbecued buzzard wings, go back to Martek the Exiled's camp first in the middle and turn in Endurium and barbecued buzzard wings. Then clear up your bags as well. Then go back north to Lotwill and turn in Study of the Elements Rock and accept the follow-up. Next, we will be hearthing back to Thelsamar Loch Modan. In Thelsamar, turn in Badlands Reagent Run, and if you are planning to do Uldaman, grab the follow-up Uldaman Reagent Run. While you are here, you also do not have easy access to the cooking materials to make tiger meat into jungle stew, so if you've got a bunch of tiger meat already, just mail it to your ult and you'll cook it later. Then go southeast back to Iron Band's dig site. Turn in Murder Lock at Iron Band and accept the follow-up Agmon's Fate, which is another Uldaman quest. Then head southwest back into Badlands, and congratulations, you now have access to all of the Uldaman quests for the dungeon guide. There's a lot of them, and the best part is they chain into freebie quests, giving almost half a level in quest experience when you do them all. They're insanely easy and doable within 45 minutes, so I urge you to try your best not to skip them. Otherwise, you'll have to grind a lot in Badlands to keep up with the guide. When you get back into Badlands, we have a few more quests, but they are higher level. One requires us to be level 41. So first, if you are not 41 yet, grind on the Ridge Huntresses until you hit 41. Then next, we will head back to the dwarves on the hill south of Hammertoe's dig site. This time, accept the quest Fiery Blaze Enchantments. Then continue southeast towards the eastern mountains, and then south a bit.
It's too far away. That ability isn't ready yet. I'm out of range. I need to get closer.
As the mountains begin to split, you should find a high elf named Garek with a level 41 quest, Tremors of the Earth. Take it, then keep moving east into the mountains. We're going to start killing the Scalding Whelps around here to complete Fiery Blaze Enchantment. We need a Black Drake's Heart from them. The drop rate is very, very low, but we also want to be level 42 when we finish Badlands, and we don't have many quests, so grinding isn't bad for us. This quest is a 1-star quest. We'll only skip it though if it's contested, as in this guide I plan to go dual wield later. We really want this enchantment to put on our Thrash Blade. The heart also drops from the large elite drakes, but we can't solo them, so farm around the whelps until you either get the heart or decide to give up. Then head southwest towards the far southern western corners of Badlands. We have 3 quests here to work on: Scrounging, Study of the Elements Rock, and Tremors of the Earth. In this area, you'll find lots of ogres that drop the scraps we need for the quest Scrounging, but the level range of these ogres and their fighting styles varies wildly. If you go too far west or near the cave, the ogres will get progressively more deadly. If you do pull large groups, focus on the casters first. At level 41, you should be okay handling 2 or 3 of the lower level ogres. Secondly, up the mountains to the south are the greater rock elementals. We need to kill them to get the 5 bracers of rock binding to complete Study of the Elements Rock. The drop rate isn't high, and there aren't a ton of elementals either, so rotate between the ogres and the elementals to complete these 2 quests. Be sure to respect the elementals here though. We cannot double pull them, they are immune to our warrior stuff and hit hard, so take your time with them. The last quest here is Tremors of the Earth, though technically this quest is all over Badlands. There is a large entourage of ogres that patrol counterclockwise around Badlands. They spawn to the far southeast and then roam up around the northern mountains and eventually pass through this ogre camp, going south and then east back through the mountains again. Because of their pathing, you are most likely to encounter them here if you just grind the ogres a little bit. For the quest, despite the big entourage, we only need to kill the boss Throgrun for the Sign of the Earth. The funny thing about this entourage is that all the ogres have different walking speeds and they are not linked. So you can patiently follow the group until they split off and then pull the boss with a few adds, or you can Rambo it with Intimidating Shout and Retaliate. Once you complete Study of the Elements Rock and Scrounging, you can roam clockwise around Badlands to try and hunt down the ogre group. We will need to ding 42 before we leave Badlands, so alternatively you can pick a spot in their patrol path and just grind there and wait for them to pass by. Either way, once you do get the Sign of the Earth and it's all done, we can go and turn in all of these quests. First, make your way back to Northern Badlands to Lotwill to turn in Study of the Elements Rock. When you turn this in, it'll unlock the quest Stone is Better Than Cloth. If you brought a patterned bronze bracer with you, you can turn in that quest. If you were able to bring the Frost Isle and the Gyrochronatum and did those 2 quests, Lotwill will give a follow-up quest called This Is Going to Be Hard. If you accept it and turn it in once for the follow-up, and then turn in that follow-up, don't accept the 3rd quest right away. The 3rd quest will summon a level 45 elemental. We will need Retaliate to kill it at this level, so if your Retaliate is not up, grind around here until it is or find someone to help you. The elemental is immune to hamstring and bleed, so we can't cheese him, but this quest gives a ton of experience, so if you made it this far, definitely try to get it done. An added sad fact for Druiders is that it's immune to nature damage also, so even if you have your Thunder Fury already, it's not gonna help. If your Retaliate is up though, get a full rage bar on the nearby wildlife and then accept the quest. Once Famrator Guardian appears, engage with charge from a distance and just go ham on him. Use Demo Shout, Retaliate, and you should be able to come out on top. Once it's done, turn in the quest nearby to get your first trinket. Woo! The nifty stopwatch is pretty awesome, especially if you see a boat and you can't get there in time, then you pop it and you zoom! Don't vendor this thing, it's pretty cool. Once you've got it, head east and we'll go back to the Hammertoe dig site. When you get back to the dwarves, you can turn in the quest Scrounging and the Fiery Blaze enchantment. When you get the enchantment, save it for now. You can put it in your bank or mail it around, but don't use it until we get the Thrash Blade.
See you soon.
Then go southeast back to the High Elf, Garrick. Turn in Tremors of the Earth if you did it, and don't bother with his follow-up. And then you'll be done with Badlands quests. If you didn't do Uldaman, you probably are not level 42 yet, but we really need to hit 42, and we would like to get as close as possible to buying our mount, so grind out around Badlands on the Ridge Huntresses for experience and gold until you ding level 42. When you are level 42, do not hearth out of Badlands. Instead, run back to Thelsamar. The reason we do not want to hearth is because we need our hearth in about 15 minutes for a quest, so unless you plan on logging out to wait for your Hearthstone, run instead back to Thelsamar instead of hearthing. When you get back, clear up your bags, and if you've got your 90 gold, go get your mount now. If you need to cook tiger meat to get the 90 gold, there's a fruit vendor that roams in Ironforge, so you can fly there, train your 42 and 40 abilities, but as I don't have my mount, I completely stopped training skills at 40 to save up for it. Our actual next stop though needs to be Stormwind, but don't be shy about taking a pit stop in Ironforge for those reasons. If you don't have your mount yet though, like me, you don't need to stress it. Level 43 is a pretty average time for most people to get their mount, and we'll be doing the final push for our mount in the next part of the guide, where we will pick it up when we land in Stormwind. But until then, I am booping out. Boop.